I had originally intended this video as an introduction to another video I will be doing, which includes Jordan Peterson as part of the subject. I've decided to do this one as a standalone because I think it works much better that way, but if you do see two videos on the same subject, containing the same subject matter, then that's why that is. My attention was recently drawn to the entirely non-controversial but potentially misleading pointing out of the fact that standards of determining absolute truth beyond reasonable doubt were not applied in the case of Tommy Robinson against Jamal Hijazi Esquire, which was heard in the High Court fully 3 years ago now and found in favour of Hijazi by the presiding judge. This judgment, but more importantly the award of damages, will mark clearly that the defendant, who is Tommy Robinson, has failed to demonstrate the truth of his allegations. The lack of the standard of absolute truth and the presence of the one of balance of probabilities is down to the nature of the proceedings, civil rather than criminal. That is not to say that absolute truth beyond doubt would not have been available for determining if it had been a requirement, and I would suggest very much that it would have been, as a perfect example where the claim featured in the film Silenced from that pixelated young lady, and also given by her as court testimony to the effect that she'd been violently assaulted by the boy, were examined by the court, and some were shown to be quite literally impossible, as in the ones I'm highlighting here. And you can see in that box down there the judge said that the incident as described did not happen, or in other words, relevant to this video, absolutely not true and practically beyond reasonable doubt. That said, the presence of evidence, as inconceivably categoric as it could be, does not mean that the standard changes beyond balance of probabilities. You could have closed-circuit TV footage of everything and that wouldn't change. It would just mean that the balance of probabilities was an awful lot more certain. Absolute truth is not the relevant standard. And so, and this is my point here, the lack of that should not lead you down the erroneous path, and it potentially could, of thinking that that has some kind of an exonerating effect on his claims. It does not. You could think of it, you could misunderstand it any manner of ways. This might be one. No truth beyond reasonable doubt. No absolute truth. No truth. What does that mean? Not true. That means it's a lie. You see, he was fitted up. Censorship. Do you see how easily you could go from absolute truth wasn't established because it was nobody's job to establish it, notwithstanding its potential availability, to it wasn't established and therefore it wasn't true? Do you see how easy it could be to get that wrong? You might be thinking here, why are you even saying this? It's non-controversial, and if you hadn't mentioned it, it would never even have occurred to me. I came across some content recently which I felt could result in causing people to get mixed up in the approximate way that I'm suggesting here, and I wanted to clarify this, so I did. If you already knew that the standards of a criminal trial don't apply here, so the lack of those standards is a simple procedural reality and not suggestive of any failure on the part of the court to find absolute truth where they might have liked to, so they just lowered the standards to get him at any cost, then you've just wasted 5 minutes if you understood that that was not the case. And if you didn't know it, well, you won't get things mixed up now, so it's all good.